Well, good morning and welcome back to the shop. Well, slight change. If you remember the last video, we had done a color reveal. And that color reveal was supposed to be the Eleanor Gray or the Pepper Gray, which is 44490 is the color code for that. And then we had thought we would go with an accenting darker gray, which was a Dodge dark gray. Now that Dodge dark gray had a metallic in it. And that was the first thing, and I think Steve instantly recognized that. He made a comment on that release saying that that contrast would be too dark. It was going to be too dark. Although, normally Eleanors are a black stripe, and you would think, well, if it's a dark gray, that's lighter than the black. But in fact, what happens is they're a different palette. You know, grays and blues, I made this comment last time, is they can be either they can be complementary or they're not complementary. But then this is what we ended up with. We ended up with a poorly contrasting set of colors. The pepper gray does look nice on its own. It is a nice looking shade, but the owner was looking for something a little deeper, or something a little richer, and this just didn't do it. What did we do? Well, we ended up going with a black stripe. Now this is BMW 086. And this black color is non-metallic. It is a gloss black, non-metallic, and it is a base clear. We ended up going with another Ford color. This is called Magnetic Gray, J7. It's magnetic gray metallic. It is a beautiful, rich gray color, but it also has some metallic in it. It also has some pepper in it. You can see some of the black spotting in there. And it's almost as well distributed as the metallic, so it really looks nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I am going to lay a single stripe. I don't want to put two stripes on it. The reason I don't want to put two stripes on it is because in the last panel I painted, I just saturated the whole thing black, waited for it to harden up, I put the stripes in it, and then I came back with the magnetic gray. I don't want to do that. I want to actually emulate what I'm going to do on the car. So by putting a single stripe down the center, I'm going to take my black and I'm only going to paint this much of the cardboard. I am not going to paint the whole thing because I want that. I want that contrast between the black and the gray, because when I spray this, I want to make sure I can't see where I'm spraying over black as opposed to spraying over the gray. I want to see if I can blend that better. So it will only be a single stripe, but that single stripe is only again for contrast to show you. Okay, stripes. So basically what you do is you spray the stripe color onto the car. And again, I'm going to make this wide enough on the car to make sure I have enough room for the two stripes. Now, remember on this diagram, there's a 1-inch gap between the stripes. So what I was going to do is use 1-inch tape and take it and literally mark half the car. So I was going to use this tape on the car and mark the exact center of the car. Now what that will end up doing is it will end up giving me, let's get this tape out of here, it'll end up giving me a 1-inch wide gap down the center of the car. Then you actually take the pinstriping tape. This is specifically made for this. And you can use this then and run it right beside the 1-inch tape. And that way there you're going to guarantee yourself that when I peel the tape away and I have the other one in place, I'll have a 1-inch gap between the two. Then I'm going to use the paper that I have, and I'm going to then block out the 6-inch wide stripe, and then tape the paper to the blue stripe. As long as I don't come near the edge, that edge is going to hold, and this is just going to cover up the black. And then I can use this, of course, this tape to tape the other side. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're simply going to take the tape, and again, I don't care about measurements here. I'm just going to drop one line, 2 lines, and let's pretend these are exactly 6 inches apart. And then what this paper does is it fits in between the two. And as I said, what I want to do with this is just have enough of it exposed so that we can cover up the blue with this tape, but leave that blue edge to give me a good clean edge. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to tape this on both sides, and then we're going to hit this with the primary color of the car and just spray the entire panel, and then we'll come and we're going to clear this entire panel. So I'm just going to finish this up and I'll be back with the paint. Okay, the panel is painted and you can see why we went with this. That is a gorgeous gray. So again, magnetic gray J6 from Ford, nice metallic. Of course, the black stripe. And what I love about this paint is, let's pick up a corner here and bend it. That's why I use this, so I can bend it. Look at what'll happen when this is on the front fender. You'll get that beautiful light coming down, but then as it comes down the side of the car, look how it darkens up. And so you're going to have these beautiful transitions and shadows in that paint. It is going to look good. But I've got a problem. The metallics are not laying down properly right on the edge. And why is that? Well, I did this on purpose. When I painted this panel, I said, you know what? I'm just going to throw the stripe down the center and leave all of that overspray on either side. And then when I masked the black stripe, the gray was not only covering the black stripe, but it was also covering that overspray. And you can see, I think what's going on is we've got the pigments or the metallics are not sitting down properly because of that. Well, remember I mentioned earlier in the video, we have two options. You can spray the stripe color, and then you can come back in with the body, or I think what I'm going to do now, because this I can't take a chance, I'm going to spray the entire car magnetic gray. And once the entire car is magnetic gray everything, I am then going to mask the stripes on the car and then come in and then blow in the black. Well, there we go. Change of plans. But you know what? You always have to be flexible when you do this, but I can't take a chance that's going to happen when I paint this car. We are going to get the paint in here hopefully in the next few days. This week has got some great weather coming up. And we're going to slam this car and we're going to do the entire car in the magnetic gray. Everything. And we'll get this into one coat of clear. What that one coat of clear is going to do is going to give me at least the opportunity that if something goes wrong, we can always clean the car up. If paint gets on it, we can just use a mild wax and grease remover because the clear will be impervious. We'll be able to wipe off any trouble we have. Once the car is done and we have a single coat of clear on it and it's hard, we can come back and we'll just mark out the stripes. Again, we'll just stripe out the car and then we'll come back with the black. Now the great part, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have hard lines. The black will just go straight on. There will be no overspray, no worry about lapping anything, and we'll just nail it with a good solid black. And this BMW black is beautiful. It is just so rich and dark. We are going to then put the stripe on this car. Once the stripe's on it, we pull off the masking, and if everything is good, we nail this car 6, 7 coats of clear, because we're gonna have to take off a couple, right? Because that stripe is gonna be standing tall on top of the car. And then once we clear the car, that stripe will always be standing 2 or 3 coats thicker than the rest of the car. We gotta bring that back down in order to flatten this car out. Again, easy to do as long as you got enough clear to do it. And again, we'll make sure we have enough clear. So basically, all we're going to do now is wait for the paint, wait for some good weather, and we will finally get this car painted. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. I think we learned a few lessons together. Hope it helped. If it did, hit that like button. And hopefully, I'll see you in about 3 or 4 days, and we'll be putting color on this car.